Hello and welcome to the show. We're back on Forza 7 again, trying to build a road car that can beat our classic racing Datsun. The contender today is the Mazda RX-7. You guys wanted to see a rotary have a try at this challenge. Well, that'll mean the quad-rotor racing engine is going to be used. And it can actually get in a surprising number of vehicles. There are quite a few cars, and some unexpected cars, things like the Porsche Carrera GT, for example, that can take the quad-rotor engine. However, I figured the RX-7 here might actually stand a pretty good chance because it can get one of the Liberty Bunny kits on the car. Now, while I don't care necessarily for the aesthetics, the good news with this is tyre widths. And the other good news, the car is small and relatively light, so agility hopefully going to be a strong suit with the car, and that's needed. Now, technically, the 6.2 litre V8 would be the more sensible engine option. It would get, well, I say more sensible, it would get more power. We can get more power out of the 6.2. However, we are going to try the quad rotor, and yeah, hope for the best. This is still going to be a fairly powerful engine. I think it's about just under 800 horsepower, so it's going to, yeah, not be a slouch when it comes to that power department. It's not quite going to have the most power of anything that we have seen go in this series so far, but the car is going to be pretty light. That's the hope, at least. So, yeah, power-to-weight ratio should be good. And if it can corner well enough, then there might be a chance for it. So the tyres, of course, we will be on the Sport compound tyre. We will have maximum tyre widths, which at the front are 305s. Now that is some very nice tyre size. That's some very nice tyre size indeed. And at the rear, we've got 325s. They should be more than capable of putting down all of the power that the car comes with. Weight-wise is going to be an interesting one. How close can we get it down to that 2,400 pound limit? I would imagine fairly close. It's probably not going to be the ultimate lightest car. It might not get quite as light as the Porsche, but it's going to get fairly close. It's probably going to get closer than quite a lot of cars that we have seen go so far in this. So full, don't know if I actually installed it, did. Full anti-roll bars, we will have a full roll cage. It does add some weight, but the chassis rigidity, certainly for the sort of circuit we're driving around, very important. Now, weight reduction, 2,577 pounds on the Mazda. That is certainly very helpful indeed. And for the engines, well, I say for the engines, I mean, two engines would be good, but for the engine, I should say, remove the restrictors, 736 horsepower for the quad rotor. There we go. Power to weight ratio is, yeah, pretty big. Now, not as big as we've seen in a lot of other cars, and I don't think it's actually quite as good as the Datsuns. However, you never know. It's a different sort of car. It's, yeah, less powered and very, very big tyres. So cornering is going to be important with it. Still going to be fast. Still going to be very fast accelerating. I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be tough for the Mazda, but it might, if it can't beat the Datsun, throw up a very good time. So, here we are to the Lime Rock alternate circuit, where I will have 6 laps to try and get the Mazda to go as fast as possible. The target, a 55.3. I'm thinking it might be a little tough for the RX-7, as much as I had hoped the massive tyres and fairly lightweight might help this car. It is a bit down in PI. We've been seeing in cars with the same PI as the Datsun struggling to go as quickly, so it might struggle, although maybe it'll be very, very fast through the corners, and the lack of power will be made up for in other areas. We can but hope. The fastest of our road legal cars would be the Ferrari F50. That's at a 56.0, I believe, with that. Yes, it is indeed. So that's kind of where we are. Well, I say where we are aiming for. We are trying to improve upon the F50, trying to get closer and closer to that Datsun's time. Will the Mazda be able to do such a feat? well, for these first corners, we are not turning in amazingly well. And then if we do, oh, it's going to have that the typical quad rotary engine swap syndrome of make the car massively oversteery. I don't know what it is about this engine. I think it must be the way that it deploys its power. It sounds, you know, it's a glorious noise. There is no doubt about that. However, oh god, for a 700 horsepower engine, this thing makes cars way more oversteery than equivalents, you know, the V8s, the V6s, and so on. It must be the way that it's all deployed and so on, but yeah, this is notorious for making cars oversteery, and the RX-7 is, well, kind of displaying a little bit of tendencies towards that. It's not a great first lap, I will be honest. It's 4 seconds down on the first lap that we did with the Ferrari, although admittedly the Ferrari might have actually had a rolling start, possibly. I can't remember. I think some of the earlier cars might have done. Okay, that's a little bit of a broken metric then. Well, I explained some of the time. Oh, come on, Mazda. Let's see what you can do on this second lap. Tyre temperatures are coming up, and that is what we're going to need. The brakes aren't great. The brakes are not great in this car. And finally, I don't think we're massively fast. I say we're not massively fast. We certainly aren't the quickest of accelerating cars out of these corners, and yet I am struggling a little bit to get it slowed down. Yeah, not helping the car's case. If we don't have sheer brute force straight line speed, we don't have massive traction, and if we're struggling with corner speed overall, put that together is not going to help us. First flying lap is a 59.4. Well, it's not going to be last. Oh, it does beat the Mercedes 190e and the Ford Fairlane. I don't think this plan is going to have worked in terms of catching the Datsun somehow. I just don't think this car is... I don't think any particular area it is strong enough. We've seen the likes of the Viper and the Porsche, and the Ferrari for that matter, can utilise their power very, very well. They might struggle to get around the corners quite fast enough to beat the Datsun, but they can at least utilise all of their 1,000+ horsepowers very, very nicely. This thing, with 700 horsepower, isn't utilising it too badly, but this is more oversteery and a bit more difficult to get the power down than those cars were, and then it doesn't really have the corner grip. I am surprised. I was expecting this to be able to carry a lot more speed through these turns. It's just not. We've been seeing like 115 miles an hour plus at that final corner, and the Mazda just can't turn in with that sort of speed. It just will not grip. Oh, that's not good by me. That's not good by me. I had a wheel on the grass in the braking zone. Never a thing that you want to be doing. Okay, there's going to be a couple of scruffy laps in the middle of all of this. We've still got a couple more to go, though, to try and get even quicker. We should probably be able to get it into the 58. I would expect, I would hope, with a clean run. And again, we'll probably have... Well, the tyres should now be just about in the... say warmed up. They should be in a good zone, if you like. Get up over the hill. Minimal fuss. But actually, considering we had a very, very big off in turn 1, and we are pretty much there with our fastest lap, yeah, we should be able to do a 58. We might even be able to get into the low 58s if everything goes cleanly, goes well with this car. Oh, just got to be very, very patient with it. The front end is not wanting to carry speed at the final turn. So that lap was better. In fact, it's a 59.0 with a big off in turn 1. So yeah, maybe even low 58s is going to be possible. It's oh god, no, don't go oversteering now. We could really do without that. It's definitely got a bit better as time has gone on. From those first couple of laps, it really did not feel good, but it has got slightly better with those warmer tyres. It's just not going to be a record-breaking car. Well, I say that, it will be the fastest rotary to go around here. You know, that's a record it can have fairly comfortably. Oh, please slow down, please slow down. Thank you, car. Let's try and not jump across any of these corners. There we go, nicely does it now into the final turn once more. I just can't, I physically can't. We're already pushing our luck on the exit there. There's just no more speed to be had at the final turn. It's another better lap, 58.6 from the car. We lost a little bit of time in that final sector because we ran in too deep into the chicane. Now, let's try and not get big oversteer moments out of the first corner. We don't. which is good. Through the long turn 2. It's all about patience at this stage. Trying to get as nice or a run out of 3 here as we can, and we have done there, which is good news. Up towards this chicane, frantically try and get the car slowed down. Oh, it clonked its way across the curb. That's okay. That's okay. We've got some speed. Now, if we can get everything smoothly into this final chicane, there might still be some lap time there to be found. That seemed pretty good. It was neat, it was tidy, it was unspectacular, but that's where the lap times come from. You need unspectacular laps. Round the final corner again, we're bouncing a little bit across the curve. That felt a good lap. That felt like a very good lap for the Mazda. Hey, we got the 57 out of it. That's more like it. That's more like it. 57.9 for the RX-7. That was a good final lap. I think that might actually be one of the laps I'm most pleased with in this series so far. That was pretty much on the limit of what I can get out of this car. There was not much more. Well, I say there's not much more from me. I'm far better drivers could get it far faster, but that was a good final lap. That was a good final lap, and 57 is not a bad lap time around here. But it is not enough to get close to the datsun. It was worth a try, something a little bit different, less power. I was hoping for a lot more grip out of this car. Didn't happen. We did not have quite the levels of grip that I was hoping from in the Mazda. But there we go. It's still, yeah, a decent enough lap time from the car. It'll put it into a 6th place. It beats the Subaru Impreza. Not only will it be the fastest rotary car, it'll also be the fastest Japanese car, as it, yeah, well, aside from the Datsun that's leading the way, but we kind of don't count that a little bit. It will we'll go ahead of the Impreza. That's not bad, beating the all-wheel drive Subaru. It's not bad at all. It'll beat the Fairlane and the Mercedes 190e. It's only kind of 0.3 down on the Focus RS as well. So, yeah, that's not a terrible lap time whatsoever, but it is, yeah, a fair way down on the SRT Viper, the Porsche, and the Ferrari. Faster accelerating, better at dealing with their power, and better through the corners. It's going to have a tough time trying to get near that sort of competition. Still, made a glorious noise. That much is for sure. That is, though, going to be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.